Hi, welcome back, or welcome if this is your first time here. I'm Dr. Monalise and I share about creative liberation, mental wellness, and everything artistic. So happy to be back with you, and this is the beginning of a new series on mental wellness that I'll be doing over the next few months. Glad you're here. Today's topic is about goal setting or intention setting, whatever phrasing you like better. How to achieve goals, feel successful every day, and enjoy the journey, enjoy the steps towards reaching your goals. So let's get into it. We are obsessed with outcomes as a society, and what I mean by that is the big flashy launch, the big house, the big car, the big career success, etc., etc., etc. And we kind of glorify the painful journey. The more suffering you did along the way, you earned it. You did it the right way, right? It's hard, whatever it is. So I'm trying to flip that script for myself and my clients, and I want to share with you how to do that. So the first thing is to let go of outcome. So this is going to be kind of hard in the beginning, but even if you're visioning, you're using manifesting techniques to live in the end of something, you have a clear vision, and you have a specific thing that you want, letting go of that specific thing when it's something that you do not have control over. It may or may not come into your experience exactly as you have envisioned it, thought about it, or set it as a goal. So what we want to do instead is focus on what we're doing, taking steps toward that outcome goal. And a lot of writers talk about this as behaviors versus outcomes. And one of my teachers, Simone Seal, she talked about the outcomes being a bonus goal. If you get that, great. But the primary focus or the primary goal is, what am I going to do? How am I going to think about this situation? How am I going to show up? What energy am I going to be in? What tasks am I going to do? What action steps? All of that. Not just action steps, but all the rest of it too. The mood, the attitude, the beliefs, all of that. Those are more under our control than, say, getting into a specific school or earning a certain amount of money in our business or a certain place that maybe we want to work. Yes, we can set about doing the process the right way, but ultimately that place is making the final decision. So this allows us to feel success all the time. So yeah, sure, some days we're not going to show up in a great mood, or maybe we don't do all the tasks that we set out for ourselves, but it's accessible, it's available. We don't have to wait to feel successful until we have the big splashy outcome. And if we don't get the specific outcome that would be a bonus for us, we can have it in its proper place. It doesn't mean we're not showing up. And, you know, one of the greatest prayers that I love is like, I would like this or something better. You know, something I can't even conceptualize at this point in my life, right? That could come in and you're like, this is the thing. And it's something you had never thought of before. So this keeps us open to that, those delightful surprise outcomes that we get as we're cultivating the self-concept and the lifestyle of someone who steps towards their goals, their intentions, and their visions. So I hope that makes sense. I would like to give you an example. I mentioned some of the outcome goals as examples, but let me give you some examples of these other types of goals, of our behaviors, our attitude that we want to be focused on instead of the outcome, obsessing about an outcome and holding on to it so tightly. We definitely want to stop that if that's what you're doing. And trust me, I have done that in the past. So an example, if let's say that you're wanting to have a gallery opening at a certain gallery in the town where you live and you're an artist. Now, what would be behaviors that would get you closer to that? Maybe it's about cultivating the confidence about your work, building some relationships with the people involved with that gallery, asking questions of other artists who've shown at that gallery, putting together a proposal or a talk or something to inquire or apply whatever their process is, learning the process, putting your best effort in to apply to be at that gallery. And you see, all of those steps that I just shared with you are developing you as a person who shows in galleries, right? It may not be that specific gallery, and that's okay. But you can take all of those skills, all of that work, and let's say they say no. You're disappointed, but you're not devastated. It's not the only game in town, so to speak. You move on to the next gallery in this example. This can apply to so many things, as I said before, and I'd love to hear if you can come up with a goal that would support your outcomes you've been thinking about, maybe holding on too tightly. Share it in the comments. I'd be curious about that. But there is one more thing I want to share. So we've got two types of goals we just talked about already. The behavioral action attitude goal that we're going to put up all of our energy toward, and outcomes that would be nice, desires that we have as well, that we look at as maybes. And then the third one, and this one I never hear talked about, and it is a process goal. And what I mean by this is it is a how do I want to feel as I move towards this goal or these goals. As I'm working on all of these things in the art example, putting together your artwork, taking photographs, whatever it is, there is a truth that I have come to recognize, that I have learned from other folks and realized in my life, which has made all the difference. And it's that how we walk on the path is how we're going to feel at the destination. So let's say the destination is this gallery opening. You do all those things and you get the yes from the gallery you wanted or from another gallery, let's say. And all along the way, as you're doing the things, you're building confidence, my work is good, you're calling the people, but you have an inner critic that's very mean to you inside, saying, you should do another thing today, or you didn't do enough. And you're feeling angsty. You're feeling not good enough in terms of your grind, your hustle, how much you're putting in, just for an example. When you get to the end, the big show, the big opening, that voice is still in the background telling you it wasn't perfect, or you should have changed this, that, or the other thing. And what our mind does too in this case, and with many of us who are focused on these goals only and suffering along the way, is it moves the goalpost. So you made it to the opening, but it's like, now I should be in international. And I'm not going to feel good until I get there to that goal. So we really don't want that. And so how we cultivate the feeling good along the way is also setting a process goal. So it is a little extra step at the beginning, but the idea is that how do you want to feel in your life in general, but as you're working on a particular area of your life where you've set goals? Do you want to feel energized? Do you want to feel playful? Do you want to feel inspired? So, a lot of people will say, well, that's out of my control. They really put the power, myself included in the past, of feeling good outside of us, that I need certain things to happen for me to feel good. My kids have to leave me alone. Everybody in my life has to be doing great for me to feel good. Those are some personal examples. But, I have to do it on a certain timeline, what I've set out to do. And actually, that's a personal example with a course that I just created, the Creative Liberation course, which you can read more about below if you're interested. I was teaching Joyful Process, and I thought, I have to enjoy it. I have to walk my talk. And that meant for me slowing down. And it happened sort of naturally. I had a student enrolled as I was developing it, and she gave me the feedback of like how much material was in there and how slowing down would just make it more enjoyable for her. And then I realized it was more enjoyable for me too at that pace. So my habit of like trying to do things really fast as soon as I have an idea, getting it out, wasn't conducive to a joyful process with all the other things that I have going in my life. So that may not be it for you. Some other examples might be resting when tired, giving yourself permission to work on your goal and then take rest. Self-encouragement if you're feeling stuck, sad, or angry with the process. Just being encouraging. I like to call this being your own best friend. So we would easily do that for others. So bringing that energy, that self-talk, that encouragement to yourself. Self-comforting when feeling afraid, nervous, or doubt creeps up. And guess what? Doubt creeps up for all of us. No matter how confident you are, there's going to be doubt there about certain things, new things you haven't tried before. But bringing that comfort, that encouragement, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe it's calling a friend. Maybe it's watching a fun show. Maybe it's self-hugs. Or maybe it's just self-talk. Like, it's okay. I got you. The part of you that feels vulnerable, you got you. So just like before, I'd be curious if you have a process goal that you have set for yourself. And I want to also let you know about my free ebook. If you haven't accessed it yet, you can get that below by getting on my email list. And the book is available to you. And there is a little bit more about process goals in the book. I put that as part of the preparation phase, like preparing to work on a project and complete it. But the book actually has tips and tricks of getting through all different parts of the process, including the beginning stage, continuing the process, and then being able to say, I'm done. It's going out in the world. So feel free to grab that if you're interested, and I will see you in the next one. Aloha. Bye for now.